We do want to talk to A&M's man in the middle, the guy that broke out as last year from Temple High School, continuing to be a staple of that Aggie defense post Edrin Cooper days. Taurean York, Craven was able to sit down with him yesterday and have a little chat. We appreciate everybody at A&M helping set us up with that, and appreciate Taurean York for his time. Without further ado, here's our interview with Texas A&M linebacker Taurean York.
Mike Craven, senior writer at Dave Campbell's Texas Football, here with Texas A&M linebacker Taurean York, former Temple High School star. Taurean, 6-1 start to the season, 4-0 in SEC play. Where do y'all think y'all have improved the most since game one against Notre Dame to right now?
Just playing as a complete team, thinking as a team, and just doing everything as a team. I feel like our culture has been on display the past couple of weeks, so I couldn't be more proud of my team.
Before we get into the A&M season and your career there, how close were you to playing for Mike Elko when he was the head coach at Duke? And can you kind of take us through your commitment to A&M and what that last week was?
Well, I was ready to go. I was ready to move up there to North Carolina with Coach Duke. I mean, not Coach Duke, but Coach Elko and Coach Trooper, But obviously, A&M came in the last week of my high school career, came in and offered me. I took a visit that Friday, the day I graduated, and the rest is history.
What did you like about Mike Elko at that time, and has it kind of lived up to what your expectations were as a recruit?
Man, that dude loves me. He loves me as a football player. He loves me as a young man. He shows me a lot each and every day, so I'm happy to have him as my coach. But he's the same guy that I met when I was 15 years old, and obviously our relationship has built every day, so I'm happy that he's here.
When you were at Temple, your work ethic, pretty legendary. You talked to Coach Stewart. He has some pretty funny stories of you and just kind of how early you would get to the school. Where did that kind of come from, and where do you think that work ethic has most helped you along the way?
The work ethic came from my dad. I've seen my dad work 2 jobs my whole life, go sleep in his work clothes, wake up the next morning so he can maximize his amount of sleep, But as far as wanting it for myself, I mean, it's just that, I wanted to be the greatest, I love the game. I put a lot of time into it, so it's only right that I give it my all.
Tell me if this is a true story or not. Coach Stewart said you used to do like a specific amount of sit-ups a day because a coach had told you that maybe you're a little too soft in the middle to play linebacker. Can you walk us through that story from your side of it?
I mean, that's 100% true. That school came in about a week before Baylor had offered me and told me that. They didn't tell me that even. They couldn't even tell me that. They told my coach. My coach told me, it's never personal, but if I was like, okay, if this school thinks that, I can only imagine what all the SEC schools think, So that's when I realized I got to flip the switch. And then ultimately a week later, they came back and offered me, but I couldn't pay them any more attention. I mean, they said that, and they said what they say, but I appreciate them for that.
How many sit-ups was it a night?
521. I just put both my numbers together. So from my sophomore year to my senior year, I was number 5, and my freshman year, I was number 21. And I maximized, I made the biggest number I could, and I just did that every morning.
Where did the love for number 5, now number 21, come from? How do you kind of choose your numbers? Is there a story there?
Well, I love Reggie Bush back whenever he was at USC, just how dynamic of a player he was, but also Kevin Garnett on the basketball court. I love his tenacity and the ferociousness that he plays with, so I try to trickle that into my game as well.
What's been your favorite part so far of the Mike Elko era?
Seeing this team grow every day. We were in a good spot walking off the field of the Texas Bowl, but each and every day we became more and more committed to each other, and the results have been showing.
For us that aren't there all the time, what were some of those things early on that he implemented that you kind of felt to yourself, oh, okay, this thing is going to start changing. We're going in the right direction?
I mean, everything was accounted for. You had to be where you're supposed to be at on time. There was no more late buffer system. You had to be at all meals. Meals were mandatory. If you weren't there, you're going to have to pay the price. So that set the precedent pretty early, and the guys fell in line real quick.
I was at that Notre Dame game. I saw the crowd when power came on. What is it like to kind of run onto the football field at Kyle Field, and kind of what's going in through your mind in those moments?
It's electric. The 12th man is real. These guys show up each and every game, no matter who we're playing, no matter what we're ranked. They show out there and they're ready to watch us play. So those guys love us a ton. So it's only right we put it right on display.
You had a career high 12 tackles in the win against Mississippi State. You know how Kevin Garnett, basketball players, talk about the hoop getting bigger. Does the ball carrier get bigger as a defender? And how early in a game do you kind of realize, okay, I kind of got what they're doing. This is going to be a big day for me?
I'll probably say about a second or third drive. You kind of feel them out. You kind of get their tempo. Mississippi State is a fast team in the SEC. They operate really fast. They're getting lined up about 32 seconds left on the play clock, So, I mean, you got to be cleats in the ground, ready to play no matter what.
It's not usual for a guy to come in as an incoming freshman and to play as much as you did, especially in the SEC. It's not usual for a sophomore to be a captain of a team, get voted by his peers to be that. How did you kind of walk into a locker room of kind of grown men as a teenager and develop as a leader that quickly?
I mean, I was just being myself. I never sought out to be anything but just myself, you know. So just my work ethic and how I approach the game every day showed for itself, you know. I remember when I first got up here my freshman year, I was doing my same core workout that I was doing in high school. People looked at me crazy. Fast forward a year later, and everybody's hitting their core. Everybody's making sure they're getting their abs right, you know. So just, I wouldn't say it's a Taurean York effect. It's just me being myself.
That defensive line feels like a linebacker's dream to play behind. How good have those guys up front been for you?
Man, I love those guys. I take care of those guys as much as I can because they keep me clean throughout the course of the game, and they're always willing to fight for me no matter what. Even if anybody thinks about laying a finger on me, those guys are ready, and they're ready to show up and support me.
You told me that your brother is an accountant, right? That he understands the numbers. How important is it for young guys coming into the world of college football with NIL to kind of have an understanding of how that works?
I mean, the money doesn't grow on trees, you know. So at some point, that money is going to end. So you have to have a great support system. And lucky for me, my mom and my brother are accountants, you know. So my financial support team, I mean, is second to none.
Big game coming up against LSU. Kind of what stands out to you on tape so far when you're looking at the Tigers?
I mean, they have a big, physical, nasty offensive lineman headlined by Will Campbell. Obviously, he's been a problem for years, you know. But also, their receiving core is deep. Caden Durham, the freshman running back, he runs is about as good as anybody in the SEC. And obviously, the quarterback, when he gets the ball to his receivers, his playmaker. So they're all around. They're a good team.
What is it going to take for you guys to play your best football and emerge there as winners?
I mean, we're just going to stick to what we've been doing all year: is win the turnover margin, special team situations, situation when it comes to the clock, and win the fourth quarter.
All right, sir. Have fun on Saturday night. We'll be watching you, and good luck on the rest of the season.
I appreciate you, Mike. Best of luck.
Thanks, sir.
All right. Appreciate Taurean York for his time.
You know, if someone told me I had a soft core, I would maybe do 50 sit-ups once.
Yeah.
This man did 521 every morning staring at a Tom Brady poster.
I just cry, but that's just me.
Yeah. Well, that's why I'm here and he's at Texas A&M.
Yeah, for me, I'll be like, you know what? Maybe I wasn't meant to play football. And I was like, you know what? I'd become a journalist like I eventually ended up doing.
I'll just write about guys who do that many sit-ups.
Yeah.